Wow. If ever I didn't want to do a video, it would be this week. The revolving door that is my team suffered so many injuries and poor play, it was just excruciating to watch. Players I would pick up would go down with injury just prior to the game or within the first minutes. Just god awful. But I'm a good sport and won't waste the entire video hosting my own little pity party. Just the first few minutes or so. Seriously though, it was a good week for everyone. I lost to Taco 0-9 to 0, but honestly, he just had an awesome week because my stats weren't terrible when compared to other teams this week. I just hope for his sake he hasn't peaked too soon. But this was a week that saw me lose rebounds by only 6, 3-pointers by 3, turnovers by 1, and blocks by 9. Hoopers had the best adjusted field goal percentage this week with 53% and used that to help him beat Power Rangers 7-2 to 0, ending Power Rangers' 2-week win streak. It was a close one as Hoopers won free throws made by 15, steals by 8, and blocks by 2. Power Rangers held on by 4 3-pointers but suffered from Derrick Rose sitting on the final Sunday, leaving him 2 games under Hoopers. Poverty used his extra 5 games played to beat Santa 6-3 to 0. Santa tried to have a comeback on Sunday with big play from Rajon Rondo and LeBron James, who had a triple-double and a double-double respectively. But it just wasn't enough as Santa had the lowest adjusted field goal percentage on the week of 45%. Spurrow suffered again from his lack of games played, with the Spurs only having 3 games last week, and ended up with 7 games less played to Yellow Jackets. Yellow Jackets won 7-2 to 0 and only missed 8-1 by 1 3-pointer. Spurrow also had the lowest scoring output ever with only 280 points. With that low of a total, you'd think his adjusted field goal percentage might have at least made up for it, but he also only hit 48.94%, which wasn't enough against Yellow Jackets' 50.37%. Lastly, we had the matchup of the week with 2 of the top teams, Serenity and Mockingbird, going head-to-head. Serenity prevailed with a 5-4 win, and even games played was pretty close, with Mockingbird only having 40 to Serenity's 39. Sunday was a big day for both, as Mockingbird was able to take assists away with 34 on Sunday, thanks to John Wall's 15. Serenity was able to hold on with points and rebounds, and tried to take adjusted field goal percentage away, but fell just short. Could this be a preview of a future playoff matchup? Serenity suffered some big blows, though, losing both Billups and Varejao to injuries, with Billups now being gone for the season. Trophy time. There definitely were some trophies, as many teams had good weeks. Tacos brings home the first perfect record of the season, winning turnovers by 1 and going 9-0 against me. I honestly didn't know if anyone would make the perfect record trophy this week because of turnovers. But, hey, thank good to Tacos. Mockingbird takes the most turnovers trophy away from me with 111 this week, one of the byproducts of having the most games played in the week. Conversely, Spurrows only lost the ball 41 times, a product of having the least games played on the week. So how did these matchups affect the power rankings? Let's see, shall we? Well, after beating Mockingbird, Serenity holds on to the number 1 spot. The best thing about him, he's ranked no lower than 5th in any category, and is ranked 1st in 4 of the 11 categories, and 2nd in another 2. Tacos holds on to the number 2 spot and even moved up the standings to number 2 after his 9-0 win. Mockingbird is still able to hold down number 3, leaving the top 3 spots remaining the same since the end of week 2. Poverty had a big week and bounced up to 4th from 6th. Losing 0-9, I fell to 5th, and I'm probably lucky I didn't fall farther. Sanders falls to 6th after losing 3-6. Hoopers keeps holding down number 7. Yellow Jackets used his 7-2 to win to bounce up to 8th after being 10th last week. Power Rangers falls down to 9th. Spurrows ends his falling, but only because he finally hit bottom at 10th after being 9th last week. Hopefully for him, he'll have a lot of 4 and 5 game weeks from the Spurs leading up to the playoffs to try and bounce back. Now for some housekeeping. Player of the Week awards are great, but as I mentioned, time-consuming. We tried this week with everyone nominating someone from their team, but it isn't a perfect system. Therefore, after this week, I've asked Tacos to take over the Player of the Week nominations for each team. He'll spend Sunday night, Monday morning going through all your players for the week and will nominate someone from each team. This takes the burden off of me, as well as allows people to not feeling obligated to vote for the person that they nominated. And as I noticed yesterday, 2 people didn't really want to nominate because they'd already seen the stats from someone else, Jeremy Lin, and planned to vote for him next week. Or planned to vote for him this week. Not that I blame them, Lin has been the feel-good story of the week, and as Knicks fans, I can only hope it continues. And you can thank Ray for this suggestion on how to handle the Player of the Week award. He finally mentioned it to me when him and I got to talk on Sunday. I'm hoping I get a bounce-back week going against Spuros, and I have a good chance to go back to my winning ways. Poverty will take on Hoopers, who's steadily been number 7 in power rankings for weeks. Tacos will take his 9-0 record against Santa, who has a tendency to not play enough players each week, but who's been right in the middle of the pack and been holding down the last playoff spot for a few weeks. Mockingbird should be able to rebound against Power Rangers, who's just hoping to climb back out of the basement. Serenity takes on the up-and-coming Yellow Jackets. There are 4 weeks left until the playoffs, and barring an unforeseen fall from grace, the top 3 are locked in, though who will get the bye weeks is still not determined, since they're at most 4 games behind. 4th and 5th are still myself and Poverty, though we're now only a game apart from each other. Number 6, like I said, is being held down by Santa, but he's only got a 3.5 game lead on Hoopers, and even Power Rangers is only 6.5 games back, with Yellow Jackets in the middle at 4.5 games back. That leaves the 6th spot easily up for grabs in 4 weeks. See you all next week, gentlemen.